Hello, hello, hello. It is Wednesday. It's a beautiful day out. It's a blessing. I always say it's a blessing to be amongst the living. And I'm coming to you today with Marriage Our Way. Remember, I say it's marriage our way. I don't claim to be a professional or anything like that. I just been summoned over the years and years and years to just give the template of my marriage. How does that look? You have your empty nester now. You've been married for 28 years. You've been with your husband 31 years. Your kids are up and out of the house. They're successful. You know, what helped you guys to make it along? And that's what I'm here for. We've been a blessing in other ways. We've had track teams. We've blessed people with that, and kids have gone off to college and are doing great things now. We had a whole Olympian to come off of our track team. So it's a blessing to be able to come to people in different genres and do different things. And now we're more on marriages now that we are off and settled in our life and we have kids out and everything, and people have been asking. So I felt like, hey, I'll do my due diligence. I ran from it for years, and I don't know, it was on my spirit because I do see a lot of marriages in turmoil, and people, in marriages and they don't like each other. And how is that possible? How does, if anything, how does that work? How does it work when, you're in a marriage and it's just existing? It's no love there. There's no, I don't really like her. I don't really, I mean, we just it just is what it is. We can't have that going on anymore. That's dead. We're working on these marriages nowadays, and we want to see them survive. We want to see them flourish, soar, and everything else, and be blessed, because you don't do this thing before God to not put any work in it, not to let it flop. So here we are. So, we're here to give advice to the best of our ability and to the best of our knowledge. And I wanted to come today, and I do go left a lot. My husband say, you might go left. If I'm passionate about something, I might just go left because the thought is there and you have to get it out. So you have to bear with me. I wanted to come to you today with, I'm checking the temperature with my people out here. Husbands, wives, how is your mental state right now? I'm watching marriages suffer almost in a way where you see, God, the hustle and bustle of managing children in your life, and um, trying to keep your marriage afloat. You're working, the kids' extracurricular activity. And oh my God, if you're trying to have some sort of life with having children, oh my God, what is your mental state? How is your mental state right now? Are you maintaining well, or are you not? Do you feel like you're going to give up? Do you feel like I just want to throw in the towel? What are you feeling right now? You know, I have to say I'm very much removed. I am just 50 years old and I'm an empty nester. My baby boy is in college. And, we don't have to do much for him. We're just a walking ATM machine. Hey, I need money for this. And he handles the rest. He goes and do what he's supposed to do. But to see people out here, I watch Facebook. I'm out here and I'm watching people with their children, and they're trying to get here. And the parents are just looking exhausted. So how is your mental state through all of this? With your children and their thought patterns, and oh my God, my heart, you know, it takes me back when I was a mom. I'm always a mom, but it takes me back when we were all in parents, and one was going this way with a child and one was going that way with a child, and we had practice after work and we had to be at work at a certain time, and oh my god, your head is just, and you're going to work in full panic and anxiety, and I got to be there on time, and this child needs this, school is calling, this child is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Oh my god, I don't know how much more I could take. I don't know how much more I can take or how much longer I have to do this. I have young kids. How am I going to make it through life with it being this way? And again, I say I'm removed now, but I was that mom. I was that mom that I can tell it like it is now. Our kids went to elementary in their right school district. From there, they were all over the place because you have different kids, and kids, according to how that kid is and what that kid is involved in, you have to put that kid in the right school. It's not just the neighborhood kid. At least that was our thought pattern, and at least that worked for us, right? So I can say it now. I couldn't say it then, but we kind of finagled that thing a little bit. And I don't say do this, and God, please, I pray nobody gets in trouble with listening to me. But when my kids got in middle school, like I said, they went to elementary school in their district, but when they got in middle school, okay, well, we don't, we lived in a decent neighborhood, but I'm feeling this school over here because I'm listening to what's going on at this school over here. I don't want to put my child there. I don't want to, I don't want to offend anybody or anything like that, but I don't want my kid to be involved in some of the things that these kids are involved in over here. And granted, it don't matter what school you put your kids in, especially nowadays. All kind of crazy stuff is happening. So don't. I'm not. It was just at the time that was our thought pattern, and we took our kids and we put them in the school that we felt like was designed for them. And we were running all over the place. We get up early in the morning. Fred had to go run these kids here. I have to go towards Atlanta. Little Fred went to Carver in Atlanta. We stay in Decatur, Georgia. But on my way to work, I can drop him at Carver and then I can go on into work. Now, if anything happens during the day and my child is in Atlanta, daddy got to get on the whip and he got to come and get that child for whatever he has going on. So I do understand what you're going through. Um, the Fred was pretty much a kid that he he was a good kid. He got in minimal trouble. That was, I mean, he pretty much had it together. He understood the assignment. If he got into any trouble, it was, it was little stupid, minute stuff, but it was nothing fatal and you can move on. Alex, he got in minimal trouble. Alex was a student athlete. If anything he got in trouble with is maybe his grades might have slipped a little bit from time to time, and that's the major trouble that he got in. But he didn't have any time to be mischievous or ignorant or anything like that because he was good at his craft, and that would stop him from doing what he needed to do. So he got into minimal trouble. But then we got down to baby boy, and baby boy sent us on a doozy. It was more like he was a good kid, but school was not his thing. Everybody knows Jalen's story. I tell it all the time. And school just was not his thing. And I remember, of course, we got the hustle and bustle. We got kids going to school everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's, my kids are 4 years apart, which is good. So when you had one coming out of middle school, you had two still in elementary, and then one come out of middle school, and the next one goes to high school, and the next one is still in elementary, and on, right? So it was a lot. I remember it being a lot. And then we have the nerve to be teen parents and and you got to make sure your kids got stuff to eat. You got to make sure they're doing their homework. You got to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. And I just remember my head always, just it was a lot. So I look at these parents now and I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking at my friends, they're exhausted, and I'm like, God, I wonder how is her mental state okay? And then you look over here and but I know you wouldn't have it any other way because you would brave the raging seas for your children. I know that because I will do it to this day, and for some of yours. So I know that you just do it because you got to, because you love these kids so much. But sometimes we have to step away and take that self-care day and put into ourselves so we can be some good to our family, to our husbands, because the husbands suffer as well as the wives suffer when you just give so much to your children and you give so much to the outside, you give so much to the outside, it's hard. I'm wasting stuff over here. It's hard to give to each other, if that makes sense, right? It's hard to come together and just love on each other. So I would suggest, work on that. Work on finding yourselves in your marriage, finding yourselves happy. Telling the kids, mommy and daddy need a day to just reset so we can come back to you guys and be 100%, right? Because it's it's a lot going on in this world. And I even think about having kids these days in elementary, middle school, and high school, and all of this crazy stuff going on. People bringing in guns, people bringing in knives and bombs and all kind of things going on. It's very much scary having little kids going to school. So I pray heavily. My heart bleeds for you guys because we're living in a different world. And I just have to plead to you to make sure you have a faith base. Make sure, I'm not telling everybody to believe in what I believe in, but this is my show and you already know what I believe in. So you got to have some type of faith base, and you got to have some type of covering over your entire family, over your marriage, over your children. You just have to have something speaking into their lives. Again, I get back to Jalen. I I remember being that mom that went in the meeting. Fred was on his way, and I sat down at a round table with the principal and all of his teachers, and they told me, and I don't know what type of educators these were, or if they were just that much fed up with my son, but they said, this little boy right here is not gonna do anything when it comes to schoolwork. He has showed that to be true, and this is what we believe. He's not going to do anything, Miss Sands. And I remember thinking, I have this little boy right here. This is a great child. I don't know why he's coming to your school and doing the opposite. We don't have these type of problems with Jalen at home, but when Jalen gets to school, he is not portraying that Jalen that we know that he is in our home. And it was very much frustrating, and I don't want to say it took a toll on our marriage, because I don't think it did. It was just the headache of trying to figure out what is going on with that child, and putting so much into that and so much energy going into that I don't remember where we were in our marriage at that time. I don't think we were at odds or anything like that, because we were just trying to put into this child, try to figure out what's going on with this baby. Like, we successfully made it through with the other two, but what is this right here? We're not used to this. What do you mean that he is not doing? And Jalen, what do you mean you're not doing your work? And he's sitting there with the face like, what are they talking about? And I remember leaving out of that meeting, they pretty much dogged my son, and just, he's not, and this is the plan, and this is and that. And I just wasn't happy, and I remember leaving out of there in complete tears in my husband's arms. And what are we gonna do? What did we do wrong with this one? God, what? I don't know what this is. I don't know what an IEP is. We didn't know what IEP was. You was just back in the day, you just in special education. That's what it was. Nowadays, it's IEP. This child has an IEP, and we understand all that now. But I remember I just wasn't happy with what they told me, and we went straight into action as parents. And we had to, sometimes as parents, you have to do things that's uncomfortable, and you have to stretch yourself, because we could have easily just continued to let it go on, but we had to get him into something that would help him further himself in life, and not just keep him right there at the stuck phase. So we end up taking him out of that middle school. He was going into eighth grade. I think eighth and ninth grade, he went to a homeschool base. And this lady, I fell in love with her right away, because she interviewed us, and she was basically like, you know, we don't believe in IEPs here. And not knocking school, but public school is designed for children that just gets it and it clicks right off the bat, and they just know how to go on in life. Some kids are different, and this is why he's here with us. We're here to try to figure out how we can make it click with him, so we can feed him back. They weren't trying to keep him there. They just want to help you along, so they can feed you back into the public school atmosphere. Because, a lot of parents can't afford to keep sending their kids and paying for school when education is free, right? So, she assessed him, and I think he was there for maybe 2 years, a year and a half. And she felt like he was okay enough where we can feed him back into high school. So we put him, I think 10th grade, it clicked for him. He went to school in Covington. He went to Eastside High School. We were living out that way, so he went to Eastside High School. And God, things got so much better for him. It started clicking. He started doing his work, and we just had no problems from that point on. And God was, listen, he was with us. He was guiding us the whole way. Now that boy, we never thought that he would go to college. We thought maybe he'll go to a technical school and maybe learn a trade and, get right to work. But the baby is in college now. He's a senior in college now. I think back in the days where I look and I think, oh my God, he could have stood to gotten kept back. He really could have, because he had an early birthday. His birthday, August 28th. And, you know, he's just 21 as a senior. And he really could have stood to be kept back so he can kind of get it. But nobody thought that he needed to be kept back. I mean, I remember a long time ago when he was younger in elementary, and we took him to a therapist, because you have to go check their heads and see what they're thinking. And the lady was like, I don't think anything's wrong with him. He completely charmed the lady. And I said, this boy he's just a manipulator. He is not at school doing his work, ma'am. You don't see anything wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with him. He's smart as a whip and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't. So you go through things as a parent, and there's hope for these children. Understand that. Don't give up. There's hope out here, because like I said, my success story with that baby, I'll never forget it, and I will tell it to the end of time, especially to parents that go through with their children and they just feel like, oh my God, we're just doing too much. It's just too much going on. I don't have the time. I can't do this. I can't do that. I just give up. And I know that's not an option. And I know that you would never. But take some time, self-evaluate. Look into things when you see them arise. Don't just let them go on and fester and just get out of whack. Look into situations, and so it can make it a little bit easier on your life. Not saying that it will be easy, but in the future, it definitely will hopefully work in your favor. Hopefully it will. And pay attention in your life, in your marriage, and husbands to your wives. when they're going through this thing. I remember my husband had to catch me a lot of times because I'm a worry ward, and I'm learning over time to just let go and let God. And he's most definitely a go getter, grind, fix it type of guy. And I'm sure that God placed him in my life for that because, baby, I will shatter. If things aren't right, I'm just, oh my God. And he's there to, hey, we got this. Don't do that. We got this. Be positive. And then that's when it kicks in with me because I'm a very positive person. But I like things to be right and okay and happy and everything with the world. And that's not what it is. So you have to have that in your relationship. Hopefully you have a significant other that knows how to pick you up when you've fallen. He knows how to grab you and say, hey, or vice versa. You know how to grab him and say, listen, we're going to work this thing out. We got this. We got it all. We're going to make a plan. We're going to plan this thing out. We're going to chart it out. This is how we're going to do. This is how we're going to start our day. Even if you have to do that, make it work. And kudos to all of you out there. I know you're stressed, and I know that mental state sometimes it gets it's draining. And I can see it, but I see you push through as well. But I had to come on and check the temperature and just, I don't know who it's for. I don't know who it's for. It just came to me just to check the temperature and see where everybody's mental state is in the hustle and bustle of being parents and being husbands and wives and keeping it all together. Had to come on and just check that and just say, sometimes you just have to stop, pull to the side for a minute, and reset. Hit that reset button so you can come back well and full, so you can give to your children, so they won't see toxic, so they won't see dysfunction, so they won't see unnecessariness. They could see the love and feel I want to be the best I can because I see my parents giving it all to us, and I want to give back and show them that they poured the right thing into me so I can soar in the future, right? So I think that's about all I had to give to you today. I just wanted to check the temperature and see where you guys were, and inbox me. Let me know what you're dealing with. If I can help, I'm here to help talk you through it. I've been there. I've been there. I was that parent. Fred was that parent. So we had to mash the reset button a million times, especially when we had 100+ roster with a track team, along with having our own 3 kids and a marriage and work full-time jobs. What were we thinking? But that was our assignment for God, and we got through it, and it was so much success from it, and it was so much craziness from it. But at the end of the day, it came together. And when we could, because we sacrificed traveling, we sacrificed spring breaks to be with other people's children. But now when you see us living our life now, and you're wondering why they go so hard, how do they do the things that they do? We were deprived, baby. We were deprived from being those type people. That's why we are how we are now, because we didn't get to do that stuff. When we had kids and we had 100+ roster track team, we didn't get to do spring break. We didn't get to go on trips. We didn't get to do any of that stuff. So that weighed on us because our calling was to put into these children. But Look at us later on in life. Now we're blessed enough to live and appreciate it so much more and so much better. So I'm getting phone calls like crazy, and I know they're going to be calling me back. So that's what I wanted to leave you with. Hit that reset button, love on each other, be the best you that you can be. Go out today, be a blessing. And again, with your words, not so much monetarily. And just push forward, you guys. Push through it. Love you guys. Be amazing.